Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first Eye-to-Eye series of the new year. We're kicking off 2021 with a panel of amazing women who are executive members of the Optical Women's Association. If you're not familiar with the OWA, they're an incredible association that provides resources and programs to support and promote the professional development of women involved in all facets of the optical industry. We are thrilled to collaborate with members Robyn Crimmins, OWA President and Division Vice President, Commercial Markets West at VSP Optics Group, Tiara Claxton, OWA Past President and Regional Sales Manager, Southwest at Thélios USA Inc., Deb Bulken, Sales Director, Eastern Region at Luxottica, and Lorie Lippiatt, OD President of Salem Eyecare Inc., to chat about navigating things like work-life balance, career growth, boosting confidence, and goal setting for 2021. Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you might see a chat box. We're going to send a message out now, and we'll answer any questions at the end of the panel. And before we get started with our formal discussion, I'd love to address each of our panelists so they can share where they're from and something you are looking forward to in 2021, whether it be personal or professional. Robyn, I'd love to start with you.
Well, good morning. It's morning where I am, and good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I'm Robyn Crimmins, and I am so pleased to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us on behalf of OWA, on behalf of Deb, Lorie, Tiara, and myself. Thank you for including us and for letting us kick off the 2021 Eye-to-Eye series. I'm here in Sacramento, California, and for 2021, like many of you, I think what I'm looking forward to most is being able to do business in person again, seeing all of you in person, and I think we all adapted really well in 2020 to creative ways of continuing to work with our customers and to continue relationships. And to work with one another. But I am really missing you all and hoping to get back to working business in 2020, in 2021.
Thank you so much, Robyn.
I'm sorry?
I said, thank you so much. You might want to move just a tad bit closer because you're cutting in and out. I just want to make sure everybody hears everything you have to say.
Thank you. Thanks, Suzanne. Is that better?
Better.
Okay. And then in my personal life, I have to share 2021 will be a big year for my family as I have two sons and they're both graduating this year. So I have one graduating from college and one graduating from high school. And 2021 for me will be about celebrating their accomplishments and their milestones and getting them off and set into the
That's terrific, and congratulations. There's a lot happening this year for you, Robyn. That's great. Deb, what are you looking forward to in 2021, and where are you coming to us from?
So I'm on the opposite side of the country. I'm actually in Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. I'm Deb Bulken. I've been a sales leader in the industry actually for 35 years. And recently I moved to the Bay, and it was basically to be closer to my children. And I was blessed in this past year to help deliver my first granddaughter and welcome my first grandson into the world in May. So we've had quite an experience over the past year. In 2020, I bought a brand new boat to explore this area. And those of you who know me or I hope to get to know you, I'm looking forward to visiting every single tiki bar and beach on the Chesapeake Bay with my family and friends. So watch out for me this summer.
That's awesome. Thanks, Deb. Lorie.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'm Dr. Lorie Lippiatt, and I live and practice optometry in Salem, Ohio, and have for almost 32 years now. What I'm looking the most forward to in 2021 is getting back to my regular routine of visiting my second home in St. Pete, Florida. So for 11 years, I was able to manage my time between Salem and St. Pete. And then when COVID came about in March, that really got disrupted. So for 2021, I'm looking forward to getting back into my regular routine of walking miles on the beach and working on my golf game.
Thank you so much, Lorie. And Tiara, what are you looking forward to in 2021?
Well, first, Suzanne, thank you for having us here on this Zoom call with everybody. Hello, everyone. So I'm Tiara Claxton. I'm out of Los Angeles. Today, we're experiencing really high winds. We're supposed to be getting 80-mile-an-hour gusts out here in this area. So watch out. I really am looking forward to the travel again. I really miss getting out and seeing our customers. I think for most of us in this industry, we've missed meeting up at our Vision Expo East and Vision Expo West. So I look forward to getting back to those that sort of normalcy that we've had for so many years here in our optical industry. On a personal level, I really am looking forward to having vacation, like a real vacation, getting out and being with my family. We have a trip to go to New Mexico, hopefully sometime this year. So that's what I look forward to, just more of our normal life, what we've done in the past.
Thank you so much. All of you, we're so thrilled you're with us today, and everybody who's joined us via Zoom. We're going to get right to it with our first topic, which is unleashing creativity and innovation. Robyn and Tiara, I'm going to gear this question to you. Creativity and innovation are crucial to a successful career and accelerated growth. What advice do you give women entering the industry to unleash these key development factors?
Thanks, Suzanne. I think I'll start off and take that one and say, to me, creativity.
Oh, we can't hear you, Robyn.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is that better? Okay. To me, creativity and innovation is really about looking for new ways to approach your business and looking at the world in new ways and improving on maybe what's already there. My advice for creativity and innovation is, first of all, be willing to take risks. Sometimes, we have a fear of failure, but, let's get past that and be willing to take risks, because sometimes even if you take a risk and you fail, that's where a lot of the learning happens. So be willing to take risks. Also, I'd say be open to building on what others maybe have created. So, expose yourself to a lot of different experiences. Look on the internet, talk to people, get input, and be willing to improve on maybe what others have started, or use what others have done to improve and create and innovate from where you are with whatever it is you're doing. And then the last thing I would say is find inspiration. We never really know where inspiration is going to come from. So again, open yourself up to lots of different experiences. And whatever inspires you, find that. So if it's taking a walk, if it's reading a good book, if it's just spending some time sitting in a beautiful place and thinking, if it's trying a new recipe, whatever it may be, find inspiration, and that will open you up to more creative thinking and to more innovation and more ideas. Tiara, what do you think?
Well, definitely inspiration. I think, especially during this time that we've dealt with, being inspired, by, reaching out to people that are a positive influence for you, keeping a positive outlook on life, to be able to unleash your creative and innovative spirit, you got to kind of reach down deep inside and figure out what is that for you. We're all different. We're put in this situation here with COVID and shutdowns that we've never been in before. We're in a position where, every day you're in the same place. Things have opened up in some areas of the country, but, others are still, in this situation. So really, think about what works for you. And I know through COVID, I changed things up. I realized that I was not doing my normal routines, that I was, in a position where I was, with my family 24/7, love my family, but OMG, I figured out I better get out and do something on my own. And so I discovered that I could, just take time to myself and be with myself, which I don't think I ever really did. I've been in this business where I'm always with people. I'm, managing a team and motivating everybody, you know, in the right directions during this time. And so really, I finally figured out, take time for Tiara, and the creativity will pop. You know, like what Robyn said, anything that works, like, you know, reading a book, meditation, you know, taking a walk. I started walking by myself, which, you know, I used to always walk with somebody. I walk by myself. So think about those ideas that can help you expand your mind, open your mind, and you will. I think that creativity is definitely something that can be learned and can be worked on. I don't think that that you should limit yourself and say, I'm not a creative person. I think there's so many ways that you can be creative, and just look for it. Find the one that works for you.
Thank you both. Those are very, very pivotal and important advice. Thank you, Tiara and Robyn. And Robyn, we're hearing a little static on your end, just for housekeeping. Maybe we can try to fix that during the next question that I'm going to turn over to Deb and Lorie, which is regarding work-life balance. Work-life balance is a common struggle, no matter what stage of your career. How can women promote healthy balance in any role, whether it's an entry level or a leadership position? How can leaders help change the conversation around work-life balance to affect a cultural shift? Deb, Lorie?
Well, I'm gonna take this one first, and I just want to say, Robyn and Tiara, I always learn something every time we get a chance to speak. So thank you very much. A couple of good tips for me. Over the years, my approach to work-life balance has certainly changed, and it dramatically. I've thought a lot about this. That balance really implies equilibrium, right? Equal distribution of weight. And I've found throughout my career that that's almost impossible to achieve in a moment in time, right? So success for me on either side of the equation has happened over time, not exactly at the same time. And I've come to embrace this notion as work-life harmony. I feel like that really suits what we all go through, particularly as women, you know, trying to navigate this life of ours. And this past year has been a great example of that. We all have certainly been challenged as we've had to navigate COVID. And what we've seen, that your colleagues and your family has had to see this whole person show up, whether it's for work or it's navigating your home life. And it's been amazing because this year it's overlapped so much. I know many of you listening have seen the major overlap. Sometimes it's become one now. So what I think we've learned this year is the importance of self-care, which is something I appreciate Tiara saying that she's forced herself to be by herself. We're in sales, both of us are. And so it's not a normal place for us to be. And self-care usually is at the bottom of the list too. But what we found, and if you read about how stress has really taken over everybody's life, trying to be all things to home and all things to work, it's nearly impossible. So making sure that you practice self-care so that you can be the best version of yourself in whatever situation you're in. And I think all of us as leaders in the roles that we're in will tell you that, you know, there will be times, and it's okay to invest more time at work if those around you, your support system, knows the why. You may be going for a promotion. You may be trying to improve a skill set. You might be looking for a job. You might be actually helping out some folks that have had to take some PTO. And on the other hand, you may have the same challenges at home. You may have to care for an elderly person. You may have to show up at a basketball game like unannounced and just spread a lot of joy to one of your children. So if you follow this kind of just constant equilibrium, I think you can really better enhance your overall life. So I think that striving for eternal balance, as I said, I think it can be unrealistic and sometimes defeating. So strive to integrate your self-care into your work life, into your life in general. And I'm excited that we have some examples coming up from Dr. Lorie Lippiatt, right? It's been my experience really that we can create a favorable environment for this type of success. And Lorie, who's a great friend and mentor, is going to share a little bit of her personal insights on how we all can achieve this work-life harmony. So Lorie, I'm excited for you to share some thoughts with the audience.
Thanks, Deb. And, I think you nailed a lot of it. Obviously, our lives have changed. And as it relates to work-life balance, I've always struggled with that, mostly because for a lot of years, I felt that my life was out of balance. But what does that mean, really? So I've come to define work-life balance for myself as work, rest, and relationships. To me, that seemed a little bit more measurable. I'm a little more analytical in nature. So this is something that I can actually measure for myself and gauge success. So as I think about work, obviously finding a position or a job that you love comes into play. For example, I'm at the office now, I saw patients all morning, and I'll see patients tonight until 7 p.m. I've never thought about coming here as work, but rather what I do during the day to make a meaningful difference in the lives of patients and my staff. With that said, I also know that I can expect to spend 8 to 10 hours at what we call work. When it comes to rest, I actually include exercise in that bucket. Exercise is very important to me as a healthcare provider, and I know my body and it feels better when I exercise, so that's a priority. And I also know that I need at least 8 hours of sleep a day. Most of us have busy schedules, and I really need to plan my time carefully. So that means I have to get up early to exercise, and I need to go to bed on time. So far, I've used up 18 hours of my 24, which means that I really need to manage the other 6 hours and maintain some kind of balance. For relationships, and I include professional relationships in that bucket also. So that would be things like if there's an after hours meeting with colleagues or a Zoom meeting at night on a professional level. Again, I don't like to leave too many things to chance. I'm more of a planning type of person, but I also work hard on maintaining all 3 buckets. The other thing I've learned is that during different phases of life, you may weigh in heavier on one of those buckets. For example, in my early days of building my practice, obviously there was more emphasis on work. But as I get older, I definitely put more emphasis on relationships and rest. The other thing I've had to learn the hard way is don't be afraid to unplug. We're constantly consuming and being consumed with too many points of access. So I'd like to ask everyone, are you training others not to limit their access to you? I was so guilty of this. I gave free access to everyone all the time. And through that training process, a lot of people came to believe that they could get a hold of me day or night, which interfered with my ability to maintain some kind of balance in my life. So be careful of that. Sometimes your mind, body, and emotions just need a break. And remember, there's no perfect balance. And sometimes you just might need a vacation. I'm going to end with that.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I wanted to pick it up here really quick, Suzanne, because you asked the second part of the question, which is really how leaders, and in particular in our industry, can help change the conversation as it relates to this navigating this balance. And I've seen firsthand how leaders of an organization can set the tone for a compassionate and supportive culture. And I think most of us have. There's been a lot of opportunity to see a lot of our leaders and key opinion leaders in the industry be on chats like this and help demonstrate the right approach. And in our work hard, play hard kind of world, it's really important to create an environment of trust. I think that has come up a lot with my team. Empathy for sure, and genuine interest in the well-being of the whole person. So you don't have to be a people leader or leading an entire organization. I think how Lorie just kind of challenged us all, like how are you leading in the way? And all of us as individuals can be much more compassionate and understanding of others. So It's not just about when you show up for work. And I believe that effective and really sought after leaders lead by example, showing their vulnerability and transparency, and really showing us how, you know, they're juggling as many priorities as we are. So that's the kind of culture I think we all can really thrive in. I saw a quote by Simon Sinek, if you'll allow me. He said, working hard for something you don't care about is called stress, and working for something you love is called passion. So we all here on the panel would encourage you to find work that you're passionate about. It's proven to create a dynamic that you can be successful in on all fronts. And we're very proud at the OWA. I want a little plug here that we provide different outlets for women in the industry to vent and to gain practical tools and resources to successfully navigate your own personal seesaw. And it is a seesaw. It will never be completely balanced, and embrace that.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. All of that information and all the resources that OWA provides is so pivotal and important to all of us. I loved, Deb, your leading by example. I think that is so important, and unplugging, Lorie, is something that I think none of us really do. I actually did it for the first time in my entire working career during the holiday in 2020. And it was just, I couldn't believe how incredible it is to not to be on the computer or the phone and just focusing my attention on my family. So I love all your guys' points. Thank you. We're going to move on now to knowing your worth. Robyn, Tiara, I'm going to hit you both up for this one. What advice do you have for women who struggle with self-promotion when it comes to asking for a raise or a promotion?
Oh, thanks.
I'll go ahead and take this first. Should I take this first, Robyn? I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that the best thing I think you can do to know your self-worth and to show your self-worth is to really invest in yourself. So define what your self-worth is. Think about, you know, in your career, what's important for your career growth, having education that can take you to the end, you know, to where you want to be in your education, but investing in yourself, really putting yourself out there, finding the next level challenge. So, you know, you can sit back and you can complain all day long that nobody's noticing you and you're, you know, not getting anywhere. But think about what you're doing for yourself, what you can do for yourself, reaching out to people. So you have people in the industry and outside of industry that you know are great leaders and are successful in their career choice. Take time out, you know, get a phone call, get an email going with them. Really work on yourself with people that can take you to that end game. We've talked about self-care. You know, you'll never be in a great position of self-worth if you don't care about you. Taking the time out for you makes a big difference in knowing your self-worth. And I always believe that volunteerism and giving back really helps us know what our self-worth is. When you're able to do things and not be paid for it, when you're able to reach out and give back to people that are less fortunate and need the help. There's people, you know, in our industry that need, and you heard what Lorie said. She's, you know, you're trying to figure out how to help. How are we going to help people, but then give enough time for ourselves? So what I like about the OWA is that we can share ideas, we can work together, we can give back to the industry. You know, all of us here on this call, I know, have been in the industry for many, many years. We're an industry that's very tight knit. we usually don't leave. So you're here, for a long time. And so get to know, the people that are going to take you to the next level. And all of a sudden the self-worth comes when you put the time and the efforts into it. I think that one of my favorite memories early on in my career here at the OWA, so going back to 2010, was, having Ann Englert reached out to me and asked me to become a member of OWA and wanted me to write and share my talents of storytelling and, write for the newsletter. And I said, I'm not a writer. And so by doing that, by opening myself up to something, by being, somebody like Ann Englert reaching out to me, giving me the opportunity back in those days, I thought, well, if she's asking me to do it, I better get involved. And I can tell you just from, thinking back to 2010 and knowing that I took on something that's out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I do. I'm not a professional writer, but I did it. And I learned so much. And here at the OWA, everybody's here to support. At the time, it was Christy Walker, who was the editor of, let's see, what magazine was she? So Christy helped and was pretty amazing and taught me so much. So I think if you reach out and you find the right people, the network that works for you, take advantage. Get the help.
Yeah, thanks, Tiara. I'm going to take a different approach to that question and answer really and focus on the second part of that question, which is knowing your worth and asking for a raise, or whether you're selling yourself or whether you're selling an idea. I think, I love this question. I think as women, we tend to, especially women do this, and I know I'm guilty of it myself, we tend to go into a meeting and we discount our idea or ourselves before we even ask for it. So, we say things like, oh, I'm really sorry, this will only take 5 minutes and I promise I'll get out of your way. And if this is a really dumb idea or if the timing's not right, I'll get out of here and just tell me. What if it sounds something more like, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I've been thinking about our business problem, or I've been thinking about the things I contribute to our success. And I'd like to share a couple of thoughts I have for you and share an idea that I believe is worth considering. The second one sounds a lot different, right? So what I would say is whether you're asking for a raise, selling yourself, selling an idea, first of all, do your homework and be prepared. Schedule time in advance and find out who the right people are, and timing can be everything. Go in with confidence, go in with energy and enthusiasm. Energy and enthusiasm can be infectious, and you can't expect other people to be energetic or enthusiastic about your idea or about you unless you have that same feeling of self-worth and passion, as Deb said, passion for what you're going in, what you're asking for. Also, be prepared to answer questions. Okay, it's always good policy to find a trusted colleague, and in advance, you can rehearse, ask for feedback, and pivot as needed based on that feedback. And then also my final piece of advice is I would also be prepared and anticipate the reaction that you might get and how you're going to react to that reaction. So you go in and ask for a raise and it's a hard no. How are you going to react? What are you going to say? If you get feedback, that feedback, they say, can be a gift. What are you going to do with that feedback? How are you going to use it to learn and grow for next time? So yeah, Suzanne, I think that covers both sides of that question.
Yes, thank you very much. It was extremely informative. However, I have another part of that question. How do we move forward when we're listening to our internal voices saying we aren't good enough?
Yeah, so that's a good question.
Go ahead, Robyn.
Yeah, thank you. So if I can take that one, I think there's nothing wrong with every once in a while taking a step back and reviewing your own successes, and celebrating your own successes, and looking at what you have done and looking at the positive. I think too often in our competitive environment, we sometimes get hung up on the project that didn't go well, or the question we asked sounded dumb, or we get hung up on the job we didn't get or the promotion we didn't get. Take a minute to look back at all you have achieved and your successes, and from that grows some positivity and self-worth. The other thing I'd say is, and Tiara mentioned it, so did Deb, I think the OWA does offer a lot of opportunities for positive reinforcement. So, find a mentor, find an organization like OWA, and gain some positive reinforcement. And believe in yourself, and other people will believe in you.
Thanks, Robyn. I have a little bit to add. Yes, I have a little to add on to Robyn's, because as we think about goal setting. So, one of our topics for today is goal setting. And, so everybody on the call, if you have, something that you really want to accomplish, today's the day. Write it down, have it front and forward, put it up so you have it there, because, to have self-worth, you have to have those accomplishments like Robyn spoke to. And think about, to get to your next level, if you're able to have a goal that you want to reach, you got to do it. So you got to make it happen. And, the best way to do that is take on projects, do things that you're completely comfortable with. That'll build your self-confidence, your self-worth. But then again, don't be afraid to take on the challenges that come, that you may need to collaborate with a team to get to the end game, but to also accomplish something and really feel deep down inside that you've received, so much completion. So the completion of this particular goal will get you to that end result. So I hope that's helpful there as well.
Tiara, that was great. And that leads us right into our last topic today, which is collaboration and mentorship. Deb and Lorie, I'm going to address you with this question. A mentor-mentee relationship is a two-way street. What should a first-time mentor expect from their mentee? What should their mentee expect from their mentor?
I'll go ahead and address this. I've been both a mentor and a mentee. And I want you to think about the people in your life who have influenced you the most. And why is that? If you really carefully examine that, you'll find that for the most part, especially professionally, the people that have influenced you the most have been your greatest cheerleader. So it's important to find your cheerleaders in life, whether that's professionally or personally. A mentorship is really a mutual relationship in which both parties grow. That could be, as I said, both personally or professionally. You may need more than one mentor depending on what you want to achieve. The expectations part, I think that is important to talk about. I think it's important that both people get to know one another. We all come from different backgrounds, beliefs, experiences, etc. So really spending the initial investment in time to get to know one another is important, as well as being honest and transparent. There's no sense in either party investing their time in this type of relationship if there's not going to be honesty and transparent. For the mentor, it's important also to learn how to be tactful. As a mentee, you need to really understand that this isn't criticism. This is all about helping you achieve your goals. So what are those goals? Well, you need to set some expectations. The mentor should be responsible to set up a system to measure achievement. The mentee should be anxious to review those goals and make sure that the mentor knows what to expect from you. And then keeping lines of communication open. So again, it's probably once every 6 months meeting with your mentor isn't going to be enough, especially initially. It's really important that you engage and let the mentor know what your expectations are, availabilities, etc., and for the mentor to respond back to the mentee on a timely basis, and then engage. The mentee needs to listen. The mentor needs to learn. Also, as I said, this is a two-way street relationship. And finally, stay positive. So recognizing the work that the mentee has done and the progress made is important. And then for the mentor, again, remember, this is about offering feedback and not criticizing. So for the mentor, I think the role of consultant, counselor, and cheerleader are very, very important. And for the mentee, I think you should expect to expand your knowledge and skills, gain valuable advice, and build your network. As we've been talking about, the OWA offers a variety of avenues to build your network. As I think about all of my years, even in optometry practice and taking care of patients, and how I am now compared to how I started, I would say that 90% of my growth, both professionally and personally, has been through mentors, and I've made it my responsibility to find good ones. And I would encourage you to do that as well. So where do you start? I think probably one idea is to determine the mentee's value proposition and build from there. For example, what's your differentiation? Is it product excellence? Is it operational efficiencies, customer service? Pick a starting point. You're going to find that often the relationship will kind of veer down different pathways and take off on one idea to another. But again, remembering overwhelmingly that it's a two-way relationship and both parties should expect to gain from it. Deb, I know that you feel strongly about mentorship as well, and everything that we're doing at the OWA to provide mentorship opportunities. What's your take?
Well, you and I agree on an awful lot, if not everything that you were just able to share with people. So I'll just take a little bit more of a casual approach to it. I agree that expectations should be the same regardless of what side of the relationship you're on. And I think if we all are very honest with ourselves, we know that any relationship is much better off if it's mutually beneficial, right? So I agree with Lorie, just opening yourself up, whether you're the mentor or the mentee, and that's the last time I'm saying either of those two words. So just, I'm assuming you know which one I'm talking about because I trip over them. It's an equally successful relationship if you can follow a lot of the guidelines that Lorie mentioned. I think that it's really important to articulate what you hope to get out of the relationship. And again, that goes back just to any type of relationship. I mean, if you want something meaningful out of it, you got to put a lot into it. So I would say, just to add on to Lorie, be committed, invest as much time as you need, and certainly more than your mentor at times, to focus on your own personal progress. A big one for me is just show up. And I think this relates back to a lot of what we said so far during this panel discussion, that you have to have a good attitude. Your approach really matters. It makes a difference. Being present, which I'm going to self-declare every year, my New Year's resolution is to be more present, be more present, be more present, whether it's personal or professional. And I also love Lorie's advice about disconnecting from devices or distractions that help you be more present, because you absolutely need to respect that person's their time and the value that they're bringing to this relationship. So finally, I would say get personal. If you can get personal and really open yourself up and laugh. Some of you, my favorite mentors, are on this call, and I can see you, Jan Corey. You laugh, and laughing it just heals an awful lot of angst and just trepidation about what you're trying to accomplish. With that, I'm just going to say, and this is definitely off script for me, I'm seeing some of the chat, and I really appreciate the comments and people looking forward to reconnecting. And I would say, as a member of the OWA, you immediately have 1,000 sisters, whether you want them or not. You got a family, as Tiara was saying, we're very close knit, but you have 1,000 sisters who are going to show up for you whatever your needs are. And the other thing that I think we all need to be extremely proud of is that we have 40 plus sponsor companies that really believe, I'm getting the chills, get them every time, really believe in the importance of developing the leadership abilities of women in this industry. So it's big and it's a movement, and it actually is something that I think you can all contribute to. So I look forward. I think I saw somebody mention that they can't wait to do it in person, and we all can't wait too. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to mentor or be menteed. Lorie, I think you were going to share some advice that you got from your greatest mentor, and then I'll take it back from you.
Yeah, I think it'd be great for all of us maybe to talk about who were influences in their lives. Probably on a personal, so I'll separate it, personal and professional. Thinking probably my dad. One of his most profound statements to me as I was starting my career and building a business as a young girl, 23 or 4 years old, with no business experience hardly, he told me one piece of advice that I never forgot, and it's how I lived my life. He said, "Good always wins." And I've followed that for 32 years, both as a doctor and in my personal life. And I really believe that's really helped me. He also said, never quit on something that you're passionate about. Same thing. I've never quit on what I'm the most passionate about, and that's people, my practice, and my God. So what I've learned is that in my from my professional mentor, it's not any one person or thing. As I said, it's the fact that I was always being cheered on, and that empowered me to be strong. Probably the best advice was, "You've got this. You've got it." That's me.
Yeah.
And so now you've got me kind of tearing up over here, because I will say my greatest mentor, Lorie, has been my mom over time, who taught me the Serenity Prayer at an early age. If you don't know it, look it up. It's a good one. And the exciting message for me was, there's a lot we can change if we put our hearts and mind into it. And I really believe it. And on a professional side, a mentor of mine would say, get ready for it, hold yours, Bulken, in his Italian voice, Bulken. He would have to get my attention first, and he would share with me, you need to develop a methodology and a discipline in everything you do to be successful. And I honestly agree with him. I think about it every day, regardless of what I'm approaching. I do appreciate that consistency and dedication absolutely will dictate a positive outcome for whatever you're trying to achieve in life. And so I personally, I feel I've had many, many mentors who have helped shape my life. And for each and every one of you, I'm very grateful for. So I agree with Lorie, you can have many, many more than just one mentor. And I meant to say earlier, casual mentorship is fine. It doesn't have to be a really structured, formalized approach. It's just being honest, like, hey, I could really use some help. Can you support me on this journey I'm on? So I want to share that we in the OWA all believe in the importance of an impact that a mentor can have on an individual and a person's life. So recently, can't take any credit for this, our Connections and Enrichment Committee has kicked off a series of advisory groups that are to enable women to spend some time with industry leaders to learn a new skill or develop an existing skill. And I would just invite you all to check out the website to see if you could be mentored or become a new mentee.
Thank you both so much. Super informative. We have our last couple minutes here, and we got some questions in. So I wanted to ask whoever's up for answering this question, what have you learned about yourself in 2020, and how has the experience this past year shaped you as a leader? Who wants to take a stab at that?
I think I can take a stab at that. Thank you. Yeah, wow, what a year we had in 2020. And you know, in many ways it continues. So I think for me, the greatest leadership lesson I've had is that everyone is in a situation. So, we've had people who were, trying to work from home while having, their babies and the baby Bjorn and bouncing them around during conference calls. That became okay. I have a cousin who is a single dad, and he the other day posted a picture of himself on a conference call, and he let his young daughter put stickers all over him because that was the only way he could get through the conference call. We've had people who have been, single people who have felt isolated. We've also had, I see my neighbors run their toddlers up and down the street in between conference calls. So I think for me as a leader, the most important thing has been to first check in on the person and ask how the person is doing. Too often before, I think we were quick to get right down to the business, but we need to understand where people are. And I know my leadership at VSP has been really good about starting with, where are you as a person and how are you doing? And realizing that everybody's in a different situation. Just having that empathy and compassion, I think will carry us forward and make us all more successful together into 2021 and even beyond. So it was a great learning. Tiara, I know you've had some experiences too. What do you think?
I have to agree with learning to be a little bit more empathetic. And I'm a very caring person, but I think what I really learned from this situation that we've been in 2020 and now a little bit into 2021 is to have a real true perspective of what's most important for our everyday life and how we treat every person daily. So I've learned, just to be a little bit more understanding of people's perspectives. What is their perspective of the day, of the moment? So, we kind of looked at things as a bigger picture before and more long-term, and in sales, we're focused, to meet these objectives later, they're down the line, but the everyday immediate understanding of how each person is doing at the moment has been probably my biggest takeaway from our experience.
If I can jump in, I'll add and again, it's great to hear how other people have come out of 2020 and what the learnings have been. I would say, and I'll speak for some of the leaders on my team, being a leader is not for the faint of heart, particularly when you look back in 2020. It's a very important and fulfilling responsibility. I know there were moments where my team and myself, it became exhausting at times to make sure that you were lifting your people, reassuring them, investing in them, making them feel valued and okay. And I think it's a real art, and it's something we're all striving to be better at. But I've also learned that you can never be too grateful. If you consistently show up with a grateful heart and a mindset, you can be a leader that can be super impactful, achieve your own personal life goals, and you can really impact somebody else's life in a really positive way. And that's something that I feel very honored to have that opportunity to affect people in that way. I also want to say that there's a lot of people on this call, and we have not heard your stories yet, but I'm sure we would all be in awe of what you were able to accomplish in 2020. So I am hoping we get that personal opportunity to connect one-on-one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that I'm going to toss this over to Robyn to close us out and talk a little about the OWA, since you shared so many of the programs and resources that the OWA offers. Can you share some of the most popular programs and exciting offerings that are evolving in 2021, Robyn?
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. I can. So one thing I want to start with is please reach out to us. My email is robycr@vsp.com. Please reach out, and any of us, Deb, Lorie, Tiara, we are happy to spend time with you, answer any questions, and talk to you about the OWA and anything else you want to talk about. So please reach out to us. OWA, our mission is to promote and to create opportunities for women in leadership in the optical industry. And it's forums like this that allow us to do that. So again, thank you very much for having us today. We have so many new programs, so please check out our website. After this, you're all going to get an email with a link to our website and other information about how to join. And we have, OWA Talks podcast. We have monthly 1-minute inspiration articles. We have virtual events. We have advisory panels. We have a mentor program. We have so many, a job posting, a job board. We have just so many opportunities to involve, a mentor program. Also, we have leadership opportunities. So if you are interested in getting more involved and becoming one of our committee members, please reach out and let us know. We'd love to have you included. With that, again, we just can't thank you enough. I think this has been really fun. I know these ladies here, and I learned something from them today. So thank you, Lorie, Deb, and Tiara. And to all of you, please be healthy and stay well in 2021. And please reach out. We'd love to.
Thank you,
so
Robyn.
much, Robyn, Deb, Lorie. We're so grateful to you all and Tiara, and have a great 2021. We hope to see you all at Vision Expo 2021.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day,
Have a
everyone.
great day.
Bye.
Take care.